What is the worst map in World of Tanks Blitz? Well, a lot of you ask me this question, and it's one question that I always ask myself. See, for a while, I would have told you Dead Rail. I hate Dead Rail. I hate the fact that on the medium flank, tank destroyers have so many different spots that they can absolutely screw you in for just trying to simply shoot the other mediums. I hate that on Dead Rail, trying to simply drive your heavy to the heavy hull down spot can get you nuked by tank destroyers. I think that Dead Rail being controlled by tank destroyers makes it one of the most frustrating maps in the game because of the fact the whole point of World of Tanks Blitz is supposed to be fast-paced gameplay. And then you play on Dead Rail and it's, oh, if you make a move, you die. And especially when you have bad teammates, it's very easy to lose an entire flank of the map before you even get out of spawn. Not only does Dead Rail suck in that regard, but it's just not a fun map to play on due to the fact that it's so campy. But we're not here to talk about Dead Rail. We are here to talk about Castilla, which is definitely the worst map in the game. By far, if you actually want my honest feelings. And I'll be telling you all the reasons why it sucks. See, Dead Rail, while it may be an annoying map to play on, isn't unfair depending on which spawn you get. Both spawns have good spots for tank destroyers. Both spawns have the same positions for mediums and heavies. And that's good. And I think all maps should be like that. And then enters Castilla, which is the worst map in the game if you want proper game balance. Why? Well, I'm going to explain why. But essentially, if you are in a medium, or a tank destroyer, or a light, you have flat worse positioning in every single way if you get this spawn compared to the other spawn. Let's start off simple and explain why. Let's start with, we'll call this green side, okay? So let's take a look at the positions that green side gets when you are playing on Castilla. Let's say you're a tank destroyer, a Grill 15, a 4005, a 183, a vehicle that can't play aggressive, that requires its teammates to spot, and then you can farm off of them, right? This is where most tank destroyers are going to go. If you're skilled at the game, this is one of the positions that you're going to drive a TD. What does it get to overlook? Well, you got a couple options. First of all, the tank destroyer can very ever so slightly overlook into the base B. You also have the ability to sit on this ridge and shoot tanks that possibly poke up the hill, but you only get a very small sliver. This rock completely covers. So if you want to shoot into that spot, you need to be all the way over here. And even then, that rock still covers a lot of the hill. So really, this position only lets you see down this alley here, portions of the hill that heavies might poke, and it allows you to see a little bit of the hill. You can't see any of the mediums if they are on the other side of this little building, and the mediums that actually poke wide here will usually outspot you, especially due to the way the changes have worked in the game. And if the enemy mediums decide to push up, the only world where you can shoot them is if they overpoke this position where the enemy Chimera is sitting. Okay? Now let's take a look at the only other spots you drive a tank destroyer, and that is all the way over in this corner here, because we're going to compare this exact spot to the same spot over there. Okay, so let's see what you get to see in this position. Well, you got a little bit of cover here where you can shoot tanks that might push here. You can shoot tanks that will over poke, and you have the ability to, well, that's about it. You can maybe shoot tanks that are poking wide where the Chimera is, but for the most part, you really don't have too much to shoot at from this spot. You could work in this position as well, but I think that's kind of useless, and I wouldn't recommend it. So I've gone over the positions that you really have the opportunity to drive a tank destroyer on this map. It's two spots. It's the ridgeline and that position there, okay? Let's make our way over here to where our ISU-130 is in this battle, right? Let's take a look at what this position gets to see. Oh, the entire castle. Not even close to being fair. This spot, which is the exact same position on that side of the map, there's no other position you can work, has a flat, better point of view. You can shoot any tank that pokes that bush, which the other side can't even see. Not only that, but you can see both bushes clearly. You can see tanks that might overpoke that position. You can see even vehicles that will poke all the way in the back there, which is just stupid. So this spot here has a flat, better viewing angle than the other side of the map. Oh, and also you have a flat, better viewing angle here. As we saw, the other side of the map, this whole mountain covers this little opening. But here, you can easily see the opening and then some. Oh, and you can also shoot the entire hill, which you can't do from that position. So, Already, we have uncovered the mystery of this position is flat better than that position. But okay, let's say, well, I'm going to work the ridgeline instead. Well, let's compare the ridgelines. First of all, as we can see, this ridgeline is about, I don't know, 3 times as large. And not only is it much larger, but you have much more positioning to work. Okay, well, you're going to climb up the ridgeline like this, and just here, you can use this bush as a skilled player, and you can cover yourself from anything that's going to poke using this bush. Well, it's a tree, but it still counts as a bush. Nothing's going to spot you through this tree. So if you're in a grill, you sit right here, and you can shoot vehicles that poke right where I'm playing my STG. Or you can shoot tanks that poke mid. Or you can shoot tanks that are over at this bush. Oh, and by the way, if you make your way down here, and all the way over here, you can actually shoot tanks that are poking their bush too. And if you go a little bit further up over here, you can even shoot the little hill that you might poke in a medium. So you can literally cover the entire castle once again. And from this position, you can cover, if you move down here on the ridgeline, anything that tries rolling around A side. And that's without even talking about the third tank destroyer position that this flank of the map gets, which the other side doesn't even get a chance of seeing, which is this position, which allows you to overlook the entire castle. It allows you to overlook the crossing here, and you can move over just a little bit to this area, overlook a little bit more of the crossing, and even better yet, you can make your way all the way to the corner here, and from this spot, you can overlook the entire medium side that the mediums get advantage to on the green spawn. Think about that. So we can see, for example, the enemy Chimera is going to move up here. And let's pretend that, I don't know, one of my TDs decided to sit in this bush. Look at the Chimera. You have the freest shots of your life. And the other side of the map doesn't even get a glimpse of this. And by the way, that Chimera is not even really over poking this. That's just normal positioning. You know, a lot of the times I will play on this side of the map. What you'll see me do is a quick poke in this bush here just to see what might be pushing down here. And when you do that, if an enemy tank destroyer is fast enough, it might just be able to nuke you. It's not that long of a drive to spawn in a TD here and make your way down the road and make your way into that bush. It's ridiculous. This side of the map has every advantage over this side of the map for tank destroyers. And it's the opposite for mediums. Every medium has a flat advantage because of the fact that their tank destroyers are able to cover them on this side of the map. And mediums on this side of the map have a flat disadvantage because the tank destroyers can shoot them. So let's pretend you're a medium on the green spawn, right? So you're a medium, and you really only have one opportunity. You're going to make your way over to the side of the map. So if you're in a medium, you're probably going to make your way over here and probably around the corner to this position. Oh, well, we've already seen a red flag. See, when making your way into this position, if something pushes down here and spots you, it's possible a tank destroyer is just going to nuke you for 1,000 HP if it's a 183. And let's say the enemy team, I don't know, tries pushing you off or rushing you. Well, if you back up again, you might be spotted, and a 183 or something in that back spot could be sitting there and ruin your game. Now, let's say you're a medium on the other flank of the map, right? Let's say you're a medium. And, I don't know, the enemy medium is over here for some reason. Well, guess what? The enemy tank destroyers cannot see you unless you poke all the way over here, because that's the start of the ridgeline. That is the only area they can see you. If you don't poke past this spot, they can't spot you. How is that fair? This side of the map has a flat disadvantage because the mediums get nuked by the TDs. And it's not just this side of the map. As we went over, if you are on this side here, trying to work this bush in a medium, tank destroyers directly there, and tank destroyers all the way apart this side of the ridgeline can shoot you. And even if you're back here, which is a further back spot, if you still get spotted by something that might YOLO through B, guess what? Tank destroyers here, and even on the top of this ridge, can still see you. Compare that to the other bush. Let's say that you are in this bush here, right? Well, what tank destroyers can see you? None. None. Literally none. There is no spot where a tank destroyer can see you. This ridgeline does not extend far enough, and that camping spot back there, well, it doesn't see this. There is no position where TDs are able to shoot you from here. How is that fair? One side of the map has every position exposed, and the other side doesn't. And it gets even worse. The final thing I wanted to point out is that this side of the map has a much further distance to the castle. I want you to look at how far away the castle is, all right? I'm going to leave the camera at this level of zoom. So look at how far away the castle is, okay? That's probably a good 200 plus meters. Now let's make our way at the same level of zoom. I'm not going to touch the scroll wheel at all. Let's make our way same level of zoom to this side of the castle. Do you notice something? Yeah, it's at this side of the map. You're probably about, I don't know, 100 meters closer at certain distances. 100 meters closer. I actually tested it. You are about 100 meters closer. Yeah, think about that. And also, it's much harder to climb up this hill. If you get pushed off of this hill, you really don't have any position to get back up unless you're here. That's the only way to get back up this hill. And because of that, it means that really if the enemy mediums are there, they're going to keep spotting you when you try to drive up it, and they're going to nuke you. Happens all the time. Once you get pushed off that hill, you're done. If you're on this side of the map and you get pushed off the hill, well, that's fine. You can just back up to right here, and you can sit in this position, and nothing can spot you because it's further away, and you can stop them from making plays. Or even better yet, you can just make your way over here and nuke anything over here, or go even all the way over here. If you're in a tank destroyer on this side of the map, you have flat, better positioning. If you're in a medium, there's much less to worry about. You cannot be nuked by TDs. It's the worst map balance in the game. This is the worst map in the game because one side of the map has every single advantage while the other side of the map has every single disadvantage. I do not understand how Wargaming thought this was good or fair or balanced map design in any world. It's absolutely terrible. Like, it's seriously, it's just the worst thing ever. So if you want my opinion, I think Castilla is the worst map in the game. I think Wargaming did such a bad job designing it. And if Wargaming, you're watching this video, please make the spawns fair. Either flare up the side of this hill to a point where tank destroyers can't shoot you, or cut the edge of this hill off on a slant and make it go into the water. That way TDs can't shoot you there. Make it so that this part of the building sticks out further so that you don't have to worry about being shot. Or make it so, I don't know, you just have to make it so the game's balanced. You shouldn't have flat advantages on one side. And if you do, there should be disadvantages on that side that are then advantages on this flank. But unfortunately, when it comes to Castilla, it is the most unbalanced map in the game. And I don't think many people think about it, but now that I've told you, I think you're going to start to realize just how unfair it is. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.